Okay. Remember it kicked me off last time, so it'll probably kick us off again. But hope you're all taking good notes. So I do think we can have more than 5, more than 3, more than 4. And I would be happy to do one of those every week with a topic. I just want to let you know, and John and I were talking 2 Mondays ago, we were talking about providing something for healers, and that's how this listening field, this connection field got going. And then I said to John, we need to train the healers. We need to train. And so like literally the format for that dropped in my lap. I've got this incredible download, and that's what's keeping me up at night is we have to create this bridge for our healthcare providers now. So I'm working on that. And I really feel one of the things that I need to be doing in the next coming months is that healing field of helping healers, literally licensed medical professionals, as well as alternative healers, as well as soul care practitioners and spiritual leaders to transition to the new. And so it would be a program, it would be a paid program, but it would be a supported program, and it goes right along with the global transition team. And it's like we have the global transition team and that, but this would literally start with healers being accessible right now in a new way on the planet. So I'm working on that. But going back to
Julie, do you have time to do one for politicians?
You know what? That would be a beautiful thing, wouldn't it?
That'd be a great one.
That would be a good thing. But you know what? The change isn't going to come from the politicians.
Right. I understand.
The changes are going to come from those who are elected officials right now. There will be some emergence within their consciousness. There already is. And the change will come. But change is coming from the organism itself. And so those in position in the old paradigm are not going to be the ones that make change, but they still need the consciousness, right? Because they're in transition and they're still governing. So yeah, but anyway, good thought. I don't know if I want to tackle that one, but perhaps, anyway. So a template for vetting. And John, I think I heard you volunteering that you would vet. I don't think we have to vet Grace, but we do need to train Grace of how to hold that in the place of good of the whole, because she still has a hard time with trying, it's like her thing, and it's her love bubble hour, and it's her, so Shelley knows all that in and out. You're on mute.
I just want to say, Julie, let's you and I have a call with Grace. It'll only take one call, and to set it up for her, like I think if we just have a call with her, it'll be that simple. But also, just on that note, we need to get the Global Heart team into a format on Facebook that runs through Good of the Whole, not by her own self. And yeah, I mean, I feel like her being is enough in that it's just going to take a couple of little, how you tie up a bridge, you create the bridge. I just feel like that's all we need with her. So, but I know what you're saying. Yeah.
Thanks.
So I will do that. I'll just put together just a little piece around vetting, and I'm assuming that we're only I hate the word allow, support stewards right now, mentoring stewards to bring through. And if people want to become mentoring stewards because they have something and they're in then that's another process that gets them in. Yeah. So I will do that, and then I'll get it to the 5 of us and for reconstruction, remodeling.
And let's just stick with 7, just because that'll help. It's not like we're trying to cut people out, but we can just simply say for right now, because there's 7 days. If there are 7 people, I mean, we can say we have, 4 right now or 5 right now, whatever. But I think that means that would help them not feeling like, oh, I have something and you're not taking everybody, but that maybe for the first month we'll take those 7 and then we'll switch to, we can add in other people or however we're doing.
And some of them aren't going to have their own hour. They're going to come into the connection field and be supporting, holding the meditation and attunement and bringing them in for conversation and listening field. So
right. And one item, Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. And I just wanted to just drop this in that, some of the mentoring stewards are going to be doing that, whatever, how many hours that is, that we can host that. And for the formatics on that, Glenn, and for the formatics on the special programming, John, we want to script something that says, and if you are getting benefit from this offering, we're encouraging you to go and make a donation at goodofthewhole.com. It's under .com, Shishelle. Sorry, I don't know if we could change the main function without messing up our emails.
You mean the donation page link?
Yeah, so it would be goodofthewhole.com / I don't know if it's donate or whatever. So we would get that page and encourage everybody, if you're benefiting from this offering, please support us so we could do more.
But it could be to the main page, because the main page has the donation button, right?
Yeah.
So they could go to Good of the Whole.
Yeah, you want them to go right there when we're inviting them. And so, but we could put the donation right at the top of the Good of the Whole too.
Can we use a, one of those shortened links?
A bit.ly? Sure. It would be bit.ly / Good of the Whole, or something like that. So they'd have to get used to the bit.ly.
Okay, well, we'll check that out.
Okay, but put that into your processing as you're doing the formatics and the vetting, because that's going to help us do more, right?
So I'm going to offer that as we move into having, I want to say, content presentations, like something on like 5G, that would be something that we would record and put in our library that people could access at other times, right? I mean,
yes.
So these content presentations would become library content that people, again, could access later and whatever. The meditation strand that we're talking about wouldn't be like that. So the idea then of having, now the idea, John, that you're coming up with, that we've come up with around vetting presenters, I've got a format for that. I built the faculty application for Temple Hayes that she's using in the institute, Institute for Lifelong Learning that she's creating, and so I can offer that into the field. And it requires, again, there's a format for every course that's in that institute, and it has objectives and it has criteria, and the presenter has credentials and so.
Isn't that more for a course, like once we start to, going into courses, or is that for?
Well, it could be adapted to what we want, but the extent is when we say the word vetting, we're establishing some criteria that we're saying that needs to be met before we allow someone on our channel. And that takes us into a new place of faculty selection. I mean, that's to me, that's like the beginning word of a university, of a institute, of a learning body that we are, that once we start using that word, then we're saying, oh, well, what is that criteria? And that becomes that can become as deep a subject as we choose to make it. But it does say that, oh, we're going to be in judgment of that, and we're going to select topics and programs that we put some judgment around whether they're useful or not for the community that we're attracting.
We're gonna present the highest quality presentations as possible for the good of the whole.
I would shift the word judgment. I mean, really resonant. It's less about judgment. I mean, I think maybe that's part of the new paradigm is that it's really just, and what Julie, it ties together what you're saying and what Julie was just saying, which is that, again, the languaging is that we're just bringing, for those ones who are bringing in a voice for a whole worldview and cultivating an ethos of wholeness. It's really that simple. So we're inviting people to become mentoring stewards first, come into that resonant field, this expression that we're talking about, this embodiment that we're talking about, and from there, actually, we're no longer vetting, because vetting is an old world word too. You know, what we're doing is we're and this is a word that we've been using, we're preparing them to be the fullest expression for the good of the whole. And in that way, it's a whole different way of communicating. To me, it makes, like, I even start to smile. You know, people smile because that's what they want. They don't want to be, you know, so I don't think I need to say anything more about that, but I think it's
Shelley,
Right where you were.
go ahead. Go ahead.
And just add one phrase. Right where Shelley said it was exactly what it is, and creating coherence. Our process is helping us to create coherence. That's what we're doing. It's not vetting. It's really making sure they're resonant, they're aligned with the whole world view and the ethos of wholeness, and creating coherence with our shared purpose. So that phrase, I think, says vetting in the new way, you know. So Shelley, I don't know how you said it. I loved how you said it. And
well, you recorded it, but I love what you said. You added that piece, and creating coherence with shared purpose, and that those 4 pieces is our process of. So I wrote it down.
I totally agree that the new language needs to happen. I totally agree that there is a level of judgment vetting in that this is just I already know people within our stewards that would come forward and say, here it is, I want to do this. Well, you must, are you in resonance? And yes, of course, then, but what they're offering may not be a whole. And so that still needs to be vetted.
Well, they're not, it is for the good of the whole, but it's like, I mean, this is Grace, I think, is a perfect example. For a year, you know, we've been working with Grace, and she still says, oh, my blah, 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 you know, or my love bubble. Now, she actually isn't saying that anymore, but it took a while for that conversation, or for me to keep calling her up and inviting her in to get to it. You know, this is the embodiment piece, right? So we're not going to stop them. We're just going to say, for those who really feeling like they want to bring their piece forward, you have to have a call with Shelley or Julie or, you know, or John or Glenn or Linda, you know, and let's support you in having just the most clearest expression for the good of the whole. It's still that compassionate response, realizing we haven't set up our university or academy for resonance, so to speak, so they wouldn't have it yet. Look at Sharon Hardy, look at, you know, we know who we're talking about, but maybe, you know, and some of those people aren't even really coming forward and wanting to do something, but if they are, we can support them. Oh, you know, it's just like I got on Grace's calls because with a very clear reasoning, I got on because I knew she couldn't do it. I went in and said, hey, Grace, how would you like me to open the call for you? She was like, oh yeah. Now, mind you, I knew why I was doing it, because I knew she couldn't hold that frequency, because I had watched one show, one hour that she did, and she never mentioned good of the whole ever, you know? So that's who we are as an advisory council, I feel like. So, you know, we're going to notice, hey, Naheed wants to do something, but ooh, there needs to be a little bit of help there. So we might need to add in. So one of the advisory councils will, you know, maybe you want to look at that. Maybe in the first week, the advisory council is the one that opens each hour. I don't know what that is, you know, but that we can lovingly support that whole world expression. And the magic is that, like, I watch Grace, and she's now coming on look at her. She's coming on the Heart Resonance call. She's coming on every single Wednesday, every single Monday, and her expression is shifting. So that's what we're here for. Until we create the module 101 Heart Resonance whole world view module, which we're working on, that then people will get it more quickly. But right now they're only getting it from those 2 calls.
I just want to pause and invite Linda after a pause. She's been sitting there, I know, ready to jump.
No, I'm not ready to jump. I am actually practicing being in the listening field.
Aw,
Absolutely.
okay.
And I
Yeah.
want to make, huh?
With your hand raised.
Well, a couple of things have sparked what, are coming to me. And I don't want to get so far into our university that we lose track of what these people, what the public, what the country, what the world needs this week. We're all at home. All we hear is, you're going to die from the coronavirus. And there's fear, and there's, I need to stay calm. I want to meditate. Do you have any practices? What can I do? It is so immediate right now. And I think, I feel like we were losing track of that in this conversation, that, I want to help this to fill in so that we each know what we're doing. And I feel that really organically people are going to start coming in. There's going to be people, if we're talking about for the good of the whole, there are so many people out there who are just ripe and ready. They've not taken the time to even sit still. And we keep bringing them in to this new paradigm, this whole new field of resonance. We're going to find people that are not yet mentoring stewards, but who really, really want to be. That's my feeling. And I think it's going to organically grow from there. I don't mean that we've missed it. I feel like maybe we're putting the cart before the horse, going that far into, well, this is what we're going to offer. I think right now, immediately, it is come into our living room. We're here to listen. And after just a few weeks of that, see what evolves.
Linda,
and it's more than just listening. It of course is adding, our presence. It's adding our heart field to what's going on out there. And the people who come on our Zooms, whether it's like from 12 to 4 every day, Go to the Hole invites you in anytime in the afternoon. And then we pick our time slot and they come in. They are not going to know anything about holding a resonant field. Right. So I know that. So that's up to us to follow that beautiful template. Thank you, Glenn. So we can help them get going. Because it really is about shifting the frequency, from a lot of fear and anxiety. And I have no margin of money anymore, and I'm home and I'm not working, and my kids are, it's all fine for the first week. It was kind of novel, but now they're driving me nuts and I'm driving them nuts. And, my husband and I have nowhere to go, or we're all in the same household here now. And it's, I think for the good of the whole, I just wanted to put that in there so that we don't lose track of that. There's a whole group of people that are not the 5 of us who don't have a clue, but they want it. They want what is here. And I think we're providing that safe space for them. So the sooner we can just open the doors without being so formal and without worrying about vetting and without worrying about these things, give it 1 week, give it a week and see who comes on and see what happens. And for us to be there, I guess what I was saying about this, in my listening, I felt our intention is to work from the heart, and we were working from the head. So that's it. In my listening, I'm pulling it into the heart for me so that we can start moving on this without worrying. The whole thing, we keep saying, keep it simple. It doesn't have to be perfect. And this call is jumping us into what we're going to teach at the university, which is great. Yes, there's a both and. But I just wanted to put that into our field right here.
So Linda, I just want to just two things. One is I know why that was happening, because like for me, I'm thinking about the Wednesday call and all the people that are like just bursting at the seams to be part of this. That's one thing, and I think that's really what this conversation was where it was coming from. Like, really, how do we incorporate the people that are just haven't been on our, and we're going to be on another call tomorrow, or I think, or something. But just that was really what that was about. And that's how it happened. And also, given what we decide here and decide on Monday, which will be spoken into the field to the mentoring, all those mentoring stewards that we're talking about, maybe you can come on, you be the one to be the expression, depending on what we decide here. Maybe you're right. Maybe we'll just say, okay, for 1 week, we'll just keep it just the listening field. I'm whatever. But maybe I think that would be a powerful piece for you to be the voice of, helping those people on Wednesday who are feeling like, wow, for all we know, they're getting their hour together. I don't know, probably not from my experience, but maybe someone is,
Some of them are, I promise you.
Yeah, okay, so I think they are.
They are.
But in my past experience, they talk about how they are and nothing ever comes through. So, so if you would, depending on what we come up with here, to just bring in that loving voice of, sort of calming the mentoring steward field, like, okay, we're going to just keep bubbling with what you're moving with, send us in something. But that this is how we came here, because of what you just expressed to all of us right here. So anyway, I'm complete.
I'll add to that. Thank you. Thank you, Linda, for that. What you were expressing right now is where I was the last time we met, saying, well, wait a minute, we started with the listening field and now it's a show, a broadcast with all these different. And so the bridge between what Shelley just said and where you are, for me, which goes back to where John was, is that, for example, even having Karen host an hour, if she doesn't have a front lit camera that we can see her, and it's a no. And that's a part of the vetting of, Karen, we would love to have you host an hour, but until we can see you clearly and you could do something with your technology, I don't want brand new people coming in on that hour and having her in this dark space and say, that's good of the whole. Mm-mm. So that's even the listening field. Like, even having someone host the listening field, we want a minimum level of quality and professional, to me, production here. That it really is. It's important. So I don't think that the vetting, we don't have to go to the university or the academy right now. However, the Resonance Academy is right here, needing to be, stir the pot and let that go. But it is, as we say, I don't think we need to vet the 5 of us. And the 5 of us could do a show right now. I don't think we have to do anything with Grace. So Grace will be there. And like Shelley said, we'll have a call with her and she'll have that format. She'll be fine. Henry could do an hour of sound every night, or he could do his own heart resonance call at night. I think he'll be fine, perhaps with just that document that Glenn has, that we begin to say, what are our most crucial, important pieces to carry this out right now. And so if you think about, there's Henry and there's Grace, and there's the 5 of us, there's 7. And maybe perhaps we know there's everybody else. Oriana has a process, others will have that. I don't think Kate will want to do anything. And, so there's others that won't do anything, but this is the bridge. And I feel more confident with where we're at today and Shelley bringing it back in, because where we were at last time is, let's just do the listening field or the connection field. Then we'll bring, by the way, we use listening field way more than we use connection field, just saying. But let's start that. Then we can add those programs. I'm cool with adding 5 or 7 programs that we know will be quality. Even if it's a group where they're just coming in to be a connection field or a listening field, but it's a private one that's for men only or for women only or for kids only or for parents only. A parent one would be amazing. Quincy's the one that's saying the millennial parents, unless you got your kids enrolled in all these things in the city, there's no support, especially for infants. Quincy could host that one for us 1 day a week. So that kind of vetting is what is the minimum right now. And it's not our faculty of our university way down the road. It really is some minimum qualifications, I think, right now that are important. I'm complete.
And I think the vetting actually can, and I think what I heard in my head was logistics. This is just logistical. We don't even have to, let's not call it vetting. It's just logistical information. And if we just list those logistics, this is what you need in order to be the fullest expression for Good of the Whole. You have to have, we will be glad to help you. Maybe Good of the Whole can send Karen some lighting. I mean, I don't care, you know, like, why not? I'll buy her a light.
Let's get one of those small circle lights and just clip it on her computer and she would be fine. Easy solutions. But
okay,
yeah.
I have an idea. Could you just send me the link from Amazon? I'll send it to her. Like, let's just do it. Why should we? That's what we're here for, you know. But I think if we just call it logistics and here's some logistics which we need in order to, for you. And I promise you, if you ask them to, they have to write something in. If you really want to have, you know, do an hour, other than the listening field or the connection field, then we need to have some information. Guaranteed, you're going to get it from 1 or 2 people, because for some reason that's their issue. So, and if they really put that much investment in that they actually send us something, then we take them on. And there's 5 of us, and we can each help someone, you know, to really amp up the quality and the understanding and the embodiment of wholeness, so that they can be that. That's what we're creating. So anyway.
Oh, back to the idea of logistics. I mean, it's like the complexity to me. If once we have someone who's outside of the template that we agree to, we have a logistics conversation about how do we distinguish that particular hour or that particular presentation to what audience, who puts out that email, how do we change it, who schedules. How do people know that, oh, at 10 o'clock Central Time, there's going to be this particular program that's different from everything else that's going on? We get into the logistics of the marketing expression. Secondarily, we talked about someone who becomes a host takes on that hour and responsibility for that hour 24/7. So when someone wants to come in and do 1 program a week or whatever that's different from that, then it seems to me that the way to do that would be for that person to contact one of us that's a host and navigate with us which hour that they come in and do on a consistent basis, as opposed to them becoming a host for their 1 hour show once a week. You follow me?
No, I'm confused.
I'm confused too.
Okay, so if I'm a host,
From,
I'm
let's
taking,
just say like 10 to 2 Central Time, you have your hours that are designated. Okay.
right. So yeah, so my hour that I take on, if I take on 1 or if I take on 2, it doesn't matter. But if I take on 1 hour, I take on 2 o'clock Central Time every day, 7 days a week. I'm a host.
Yeah.
And that's the hour that I have. And if Henry wants to do a sound thing, and he'd kind of like to do it around that time, then he reaches out to me, and he and I negotiate an hour that he has on Tuesdays, and that's then I basically am, I'm producing his hour. Maybe I'll be on for the first 5 minutes, or maybe I'll be on for the whole thing. Who knows? But he
I'm
takes
gonna-
on the content of that hour.
I'm going to suggest that, like, if we do 10 to 2, it's only the connection field. It's not these programs. And if Henry wants to do it, he has to do it outside of that. So he has to do it at 7 p.m. or at 4 p.m. on a certain day. But it has to be outside of that so that everybody knows every day at the same time. Just like Mondays at 10 is the residence call. It has to be every day at the same time. They're going to get the listening field or the connection field. That's my opinion.
Right,
I'm okay with that.
And the evenings, and we just pick 1 hour, and it's at 5. We can pick 1 hour, or it's the afternoon, whatever it is, but it's slotted all the way across the week. We're not. That's too confusing for people to have to go figure it out.
That's right.
So for right now, to keep it simple for all of us and Linda, whatever we decide, today or tomorrow, we're going to decide what the gamut is of the listening field, and then we're going to pick 1 hour in the either afternoon or early evening, maybe kids' bedtime, whatever it is, and that's it. And if they don't fit into that slot, they'll just have to wait until a couple of weeks down the road till we let them know. Once we get going, if we want to add on more, that's fine. But for right now, it's that simple, and it's produced by Good of the Whole. It's not contacting all these different hosts. It's contacting Good of the Whole, support at Good of the Whole. If you feel that you want to fit into this slot, send us what you're wanting to, what your particular expression of the whole is, and send it into support at Good of the Whole. And we're going to get it. And it's like they don't have to know about the vetting or anything, but the logistics are simply, but you have to have you have to have your camera ready and whatever else, whatever those 5 things are, that in order to even do it, you have to have this. And if you don't have it, support it Good of the Whole. So we're moving it all really simply. We can't have all these different people and host during, right? No.
That's right.
I'm going to do the early bird hour
Captain?
every day, right, John? You're going to do the early bird hour every day.
6 a.m.
I'm sorry, I lost my audio on that one. I didn't hear that. But I want some clarification. Are we going to try to keep this thing going for 24 hours a day?
Not at first.
Not at
Okay,
first.
So I just did some numbers here. How many hours a day would you say? 12?
How many hours what?
How many hours a day should we on air?
We got to start with our resources. We got to see how many people are willing to take a slot.
And that's what I'm saying, is that we have, if we went 24 hours, we'd have 168 hours in a week. If we do, and I was figuring 6 hours a day for the residents listening piece, that's 42 hours. That leaves 126 hours. We're not going to fill 126 hours. So therefore, I'm thinking, like, if I were to do, and I have themes, I know you all do, for more than one, but if I would be responsible for 1 hour, as Glenn, you were saying, which I think is smart, outside of our 4 or 6 residence hours, if I did one quality one per week and had encore presentations, then that would be 7 hours a week in different slots or whatever. That's why, Julie, I think that your Google map, your Google chart thing would be a pretty damn good idea, actually. I don't know anything about
You're
it.
confusing me, because it sounds like, what are those slotted presentations? That doesn't make any sense. It's
Well,
1 hour a week.
Let's say to be consistent, what am I gonna? I'm gonna sign up for 1 hour a week for my individual hour.
But not as a host.
Every day.
Oh, not as a host.
Every day. And no, host, if you're a host, you take 10 o'clock on Tuesday
Correct.
morning Central
No, I
Time
get that.
every day.
I get that. But suppose I wanted to have an hour men's group once a week.
We're going to slot the time, and you're just going to pick Monday through
Do it
Friday.
every Wednesday at 7 p.m.
That's what I'm saying. But do we want me at Wednesday at 7 and then Julie's going to come on at 9 and there's gonna be an hour gap in there, you're gonna fill them all.
No. It's only 7, like we're saying, it's only 7 to 8, Monday through Sunday, 7 days. That if somebody wants to do it, it's just 1 day a week.
60 to 90 minute slot.
Nobody's going 8 to 9, 9 to 10, 10 to 11. It's only
Oh, so we
There's
only
five.
have one, we do our thing in the morning and then 1 hour thing at night and that's it. We shut it down.
once a week
I got it. Okay.
at a specific time.
Got it.
So if it's, now I'm confused.
Well, it could be every evening at, again, thinking about what time zone though you're going to operate in.
Right.
Because remember, I'm 5 hours away from Central Time. So
Central time. Just think it's Central time.
Central
Let's
Time.
just
So
hypothetically say Central Time, excuse me.
Central
Glenn.
time.
yeah, Central Time.
From,
So
from 12 to 5. There's 5 of us here.
mhm.
Each one takes an hour. Do we do this every single day?
Every single day.
Or
That's a huge commitment.
That's a
That's
huge
right.
commitment.
That's right. That's why you're a
that's what we're
host.
talking about.
That's what we're talking about here. That's a
That's why they're
host.
paying
That's
you
what
the
a,
big bucks, Linda.
But when
exactly.
you say, what?
That's a host.
But when you say, oh, I'll take Tuesday,
No, that's just for the evenings. That's just, we were talking about.
A specialty program.
so we need more hosts is what
We
we're
need more hosts.
Only now,
Like if I say
We
I'll
have-
do noon,
if
Monday
you say you'll do noon, you're becoming a content provider for that hour. You're not a host.
No.
That's my
No.
point. In other words, we work on our languaging here about how we define who's a host that takes on the hour every day that produces that hour. Maybe it's a new word. Maybe it's a
No, they're not
producer.
producing. It's just the listening field.
That's right. So
But it's
I'm
me.
holding that space. I'm holding that space every hour. I'm saying I'll hold that space every day from 10 to 11 or 12 to 1, whatever. I'll hold that space every day, 7 days a week. And I'll be sure to have someone in there to hold that space if I can't physically be present to do it myself.
Now, would that be another mentoring steward? Or
No, maybe not. Well, no, it would
So
be,
again, how
it'd
do
be
we
up to
know
you.
how to hold that space?
So that would be up to me though, that as a host, that would be up to me to train them in the template and to make sure that they know that.
Whoa. Hold on. Wait a second. Can we just,
Yeah.
for me, this energy is getting like really like all over the place.
Oh,
So
breathe.
let's take a pause.
Yeah.
Also, the World's Water Day thing is going to start happening for, okay. And for me and for people who are involved. So, and there's a premiere video being shown at 3:40, literally going off on Loving Waters at 3:40. So I need to come to a close of this call personally, like we've been on for quite a long time. And this is my suggestion. It's 3:23. Let's just take a breather here. Let everyone muse. Glenn and John, you can talk about the paperwork, the template thing that, and maybe Julie, you and I can just send out a little thing about, just put out a little calendar thing so that we can see it. Because I think visually that would really help. And just for the 5 of us, because if we don't get this in our bodies, are we meeting tomorrow at our regular time? Okay. So tomorrow, if we just take this time to just kind of sit with what is it that's moving in you, how many hours do you feel like you can do? Because if we can't get that here, then we can't add in other people. So if we can just feel like, and get a sense of what are we talking, so let's just stay in Central Time. So Central Time, so maybe it's 10 to 2 every day. I don't think it's 12 to 5 every day, but maybe it's, or we have to think about Glenn being in Hawaii. So we got together today at, so I don't know.
1 Central.
1 Central.
Well, that was
Okay,
that was 8 o'clock my time, 8 a.m.
Okay. So, yikes. Okay.
So I will create a demo calendar.
Yeah, let's do that.
What we're doing. So I'm just going to put in like 10 to 2 Central and show you what happens. Because, for example, if I commit to the noon hour 7 days a week, I'll share that with Henry, who I'll do Monday through Friday and he'll do Saturday, Sunday. And then that's that slot clear across the calendar and it's set. And
That's
if
what
Henry
Glenn was
can't do Sunday, he might trade with me a day.
Yeah.
Okay. So that we have all these ribbons all the way across, and then we can co-share those slots. So
And
that,
Henry could come over to my slot.
right. So we might have substitutes, or we might, but we'll all just create a demo calendar of what I think you're saying, Shelley, and how I perceive you saying that.
Right.
And I'll get the Google Calendar out and you'll see, oh, I get how this will work. And then we'll each be able to say, I will commit or I won't commit, and here's what I can do.
Okay. The other thing I'd like to invite us, Glenn, please, at this point, if we could, not be thinking about who else is co-hosting, who isn't a part of Go to the Whole with us for that hour. Not that you can't choose to do that, but I think at this point, like just to keep it simple, like, or talk about it on Monday, what that actually, because what the logistics are about just inviting anyone to come on to that hour, because we're doing something incredibly specific here. And we know how to hold that feel. It is not about a radio show, or as much as some part of me would like that, it's this, unless that's the upper evening part or whatever that slot is, that slotted time. But for me, I feel like this is about, if you want to have a mentoring steward on with you or something, but I would just like to have that conversation, because that's what I'm feeling. I'm not saying it's right, but I'm feeling like this is not about inviting Marianne Williamson onto my call so I can have more people, or this is about an expression of Go to the Whole. And therefore, can each one of us hold 1 hour? What is or what is our issues about holding 1 hour a day? Because we've been building it for years, with 7 days of rest and things like that. We can hold an hour. And if we have a mentoring steward that wants to be a host, it doesn't feel like, or we don't feel they can hold it, then maybe one of us will get on with them. I don't know, but I just don't feel like it's all about bringing in all these other people, because we want these people to come in as participants, like we were talking about. Come experience what we're offering here, and if they come in onto your Zoom hour, they're going to be bringing in their stuff. How amazing is that? But rather than having guest hosts, I'm really not into that unless someone can figure out or explain to me why we would want to do that at this time. So I'm just putting that out, not specifically to you, Glenn, but to all of us. Like, what's going on that we don't feel that we can host an hour show, an hour experience. So I'm putting that out. I'm happy to change my belief around it or whatever that is.
Well,
but that's
thank you,
Well,
Shelley, because I'm thinking for us, it's more than 1 hour. It's the heart resonance call, which I'm not usually on. Sometimes I'll call in, but it's Monday for an hour. It's Monday afternoon for an hour because of our advisory council. It's Wednesday morning for an hour for the regular Good of the Whole call, unless that's going to be changed and opened up to everyone. And then we've got another hour every single day. That turns out to be a lot. We're home taking time and our lives are changing. Everybody's suggesting, oh, this is a good time to read. This is a good time to learn a meditation. This is a good time to do yoga. This is a good time to clean your closets. And I find I've been sitting on Zoom calls all day long with them, such as you. And it's like, I have a lot to do. And I'm here. I'm devoting a lot of time here, where I do want to take time to write and create content, and some of the things that Julie had put in that post this morning. So yeah, I just wanted to say it is a lot. It's a lot to ask from all of us. Yes.
And if you did a 15-minute slot on the Mala Japa meditation, that would be okay too every night. And that could be on the calendar, and that could be published in our weekly digest that comes in everybody's email. Glenn, are you getting the weekly digest? Yeah, okay. So I just want to say, we could be creative with this so it really meets our needs. I'm feeling the same way, Linda. Like, if we don't have the infrastructure to filter them in, this isn't going to be sustainable. So I've got to do some work there. And I really want to work with the healers and get this other program going because it's essential. So it's like, okay, here we go, you know, and Resonance Radio could be one of those hours. I'll put it on the calendar and it'll be a dummy for tomorrow.
I want to say, Linda brought in something really important, which is that we already have how are we going to move around that Global Heart Resonance hour? And maybe that is part of the, you know, somehow I weave that in, which I can totally do. But the other thing is the Mentoring Stewards call from 10 to 11. We can't, so maybe we make it public so that anybody during that listening, you know, can come on. And so that's incorporated in. So thank you so much, because I completely hadn't even been thinking of that. So that's really important. Yeah.
So we have such a great format on the morning heart resonance call. It's the most clear, simple. It's what you guys have been doing for years. All we have to do is get hosts to replicate that. I did it myself for the first time, and it was like, if you're in that zone, you can do it. We just want people to make sure that that format is perfect for allowing people to come in and either contribute, check in, whatever it might be, and listen and move into the resonant field. Second of all, I want to say I've been in touch with some frontline people, medical people, emergency staff, and a nurse. And these guys are not staying at home and doing all the wonderful things that we all are doing. They are more than 12, 16-hour days every day. I kind of feel in a way that I'm on that line too, in a different capacity. I'm really realizing for me that I'm even though I'm taking time, like you were saying, Linda, for that balance, we have to have that. And yet this is kind of we're on frontline duty here if we're going to bring new level of conscious awareness through. So, you know, if I'm guided and supported, I'll take on more. I'm willing to do it. I think it's that important. Throw that out.
Guided and supported. We're creating resilience here. This is about resilience. Thank you. And I just saw a new show for medical professionals called Overtime that we could record, and then they can access at any time when they finally have a break. So something
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
I will work around the clock too for this if we have the function and structure in place to make it sustainable for us. And Shelley has to get off.
Sure. And that was really the function of the template, so that we could overlay something in place that's, again, simple, repetitive, and holding that field. And to the extent that we have mentoring stewards that are capable of doing that, I don't know that I don't know enough mentoring stewards. You know, the heart resonant calls that we have are, 4 in the morning here. So it's, it's early. So, but the idea of, do we have enough people that are going to be able to fill those, to support me in having that hour for every day? So I don't know. So if they're here, they're here.
And if one person shows up, we still hold that hour.
Exactly.
And also what John was saying, which I think is like really vital, is each one of us to contact 8 other people that would be willing to come on and come and experience that we're doing this. And we really would love your input and connection, and we'd love to bring you into this, however you would say it. Maybe that's something to write up, John, since you've already had that experience. What did you, just write a little script, like what did you say to people that they all said yes, that they would be happy to come on and connect. So because that starts the momentum going. And the idea is that it's focused enough that we're going to get people coming on, and once it starts going out, and we will, I know it.
We will. I haven't had at least one person that committed to be online with me with this thing said, "Oh my God, I'd also like to have my sister da 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 da."
Okay. I have to go because like I want to just.
We'll continue. Have a good.
You
So
shall.
we'll see. So we'll see.
See you tomorrow.
So we'll see each other same
Tomorrow.
tomorrow.
Tomorrow at 10, tomorrow at 3.
I'll send out the Google Calendar so you can see a demo.
And
Right.
please come to Loving Waters and watch that. There's an amazing 5-minute video that will expand your consciousness around
How do
what is
we-
water.
How do we find out how to get there?
Just go to
on
Loving Waters Facebook page at, and again, if you watch it later, it's not a problem, but it's at 1:40, so it's in 5 minutes. Love you. Should we just do a
Love you
little
too.
closing?
Bye-bye.
Are you guys all
Love you.
getting off or no?
I'm gonna get off.
So let's do a little, someone do a little closing. Yeah. Can't hear it, Linda.
There we go. Well, I just want to thank everybody
the
for the
hand thing.
love and support.
John, do the hand thing.
Here we go.
Here we go, the hand thing.
Rock-
Right side.
So I want to thank everybody for all the energy and the love and support that we all have and we do. And we're just having so much fun. And
You're like
creating
the Brady
something
Bunch
that's
here.
for the good of the whole.
Brady Bunch.
Love you all. Later.
Have a good evening.
Much love, much love.
See you soon.
Bye now.